Well, good early Friday morning to you, friends. I wanted to talk this morning about habits. And I've learned that I'm a very habit oriented person, more so than I thought I was. And I used to have horrible habits: chewing tobacco, drinking, lying. When I was younger, I just never could tell the truth, either to change my perception of myself or to help others have a different perception of me because I was insecure about who I was. And since then, having learned these things, I have learned that when I am at my most productive and successful, it is because of the habits I have put in place. And when I am at my worst, when I'm doing the most destructive things I can do, it's because of the habits I have chosen. Now, before I really started changing habits, I had to learn what type of personality I naturally gravitated towards. I knew that I was a very habit oriented person, but I did not know how I dealt with expectations. What I mean by expectations is, like, let's use the New Year's resolution for an example. There's four general different types of personalities: the rebel, the obliger, the upholder, and the questioner. And they all deal with expectations differently. I am an obliger, which means I don't deal with inner expectations well, but outer expectations, I'll do anything all day for other people. But if I want to try and do something for myself, I have to make it an external thing, which means I have to figure out a way to be creative to let somebody else know about it where I have outside accountability, which is great because my wife, undoubtedly, she is my anchor. She is my external accountability. So when I'm at my most productive at home, I turn over the accountability to her. Sure, there's vulnerability in that. The upholder, they deal with inner and outer expectations very well. The questioner, that's my wife, the questioner deals with inner expectations super well. Outer, not so much. And here is how our differences cancel out to make us a good team. As a questioner, she questions everything until it makes sense and logic in her mind, and then she will always be there to do it. So if there's something, a need that I have learned that I have to become incredibly factual and diligent in figuring out why this needs to matter to her. And it has caused me to rethink in how to teach and motivate things that I want to change in the home to describe them clearly. It's helped me become a better teacher, not just for her, but for our kids as well. Now, understanding your expectation type, the rebel is like, they don't want to be grounded down to anything. Now, the rebel isn't a bad personality type. There are plenty of major Fortune 500 company CEOs that have a rebel personality. But you have to figure out how to manage your habits in that. So, changing habits, what we all have to understand, what I had to understand about habits is, generally, bad habits have a good immediate outcome, or a very good immediate outcome, but a horrible long-term outcome. We could use smoking a cigarette. You smoke a cigarette, a great outcome, immediate outcome is it curbs your nicotine addiction. It might help you in a social setting and you get to meet some new people. Generally probably aren't going to be, maybe the greatest people for your circle of influence, but whatever. And I know good people that smoke. However, the long-term outcome, we all know what that is. So what's a good habit have? Good habits have horrible immediate outcomes, generally. We'll use going to the gym. You go to the gym, you do that lift, and you freaking hurt. Awful. It's bad. However, you continue the habit for a long amount of time, your long-term outcome is great because you keep showing up 4 or 5 years later, you continue the habit. Now, what I just learned on this great podcast. I'm going to post it below. I am right now trying to change my habits and my circle of control to becoming the absolute best version of homeschool dad I could possibly be, because there are so many things that I am not achieving in my daily expectations for myself, because I haven't figured out how to make the habits to make this outcome happen yet. And that's what I'm in pursuit of. I want to be the spiritual leader of my house. I want to be great at building the soil on our property and raising awesome food and being a great neighbor and being an awesome husband and being a good musician in the home and teaching my kids how to play and read and just not be, so ingrained in the current culture we're all in. So habits, I'm changing habits, figuring out how to make that goal a reality. Now, how we quantify or measure our habits over a long period of time is sometimes what we tie to our identity. And this is where it gets interesting. So if you have a goal of making money and you do that over a long period of time and you become successful at it and your goal is making that money, the longer you quantify and measure that, if that goes away, that's where people have major breakdowns in identity. And generally what happens, like on a midlife crisis or something where somebody later in life wants to change how they quantify or measure their goals, that's when you see these just complete shifts in people. So how we choose our habits early in life and how fast we pursue them are going to determine that long-term identity. So this has really caused me to think so carefully about what habits I want to choose right now at this point in my life in my 30s. Because down the road, that's my identity. Now, those of you that know me, I used to be a public school teacher, a music educator, and I had a great time doing that. I've met the most incredible people of my life. And that became my identity. And when that wasn't there anymore, I had to change. Everything changed so quickly. I was in the public spotlight and now I'm not. And now I'm trying to change the habits I have to make me successful at this. Because right now, those 4 kids in our house, they matter. You matter. Our neighbors matter. My community matters. My family matters. Those are the people in my local circle of influence that matters to me. So I know it's a long-winded one, but it's just so fun to think and continue to pursue greatness on this planet, no matter if you're just a homeschool stay-at-home dad, or if you're a cashier at Casey's, or if you're a trash man. It doesn't matter what that is. I just wanted to use this to encourage you all. No matter what your job is, don't let that be what it is you use to describe you. Let it be your habits, who you are, your personality. That's who you are. Anyway, I love you guys. I hope you have a great rest of your Friday. I'm going to go haul some pig feed. Catch you guys later. See ya.